Go teach.
What it? Yeah.
Peaceful greetings. How are you doing? I am Benjamin Bey here at Northwest New Mexico. I'm here with my lovely bros here at Seven Hills Star. And they are...
Namaste. I am Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey here at Morocco at Northwest of Mexico. How are you?
Also, peace and love. It is Brother Sean and Liam L. All is well. Listen to this Veritas presentation. It'll tell you some tales.
It's
yeah. Oh yeah, we just here to bring this lovely holy day today to read to you, basically. You know, just short and simple. You know, kind of like a mother with you. You know, she's just like, come here right quick. Let me just, you know, give you something simple, but you know, something impactful. Because most small things are impactful. You know, small things are like a piece of gum on the ground. It's small, but it sticks to you, and it's like, what in the this what we're doing today. But you know, enough of my blabbering, you know. But and I yield. So,
you might not notice that piece of gum till later.
Yeah. So we start with the Moorish American prayer here, and I like to stand. I don't know, my brothers, I'm sure they will as well. We'll, you know, I'll crank it off, you know, if y'all don't mind. You know, I'm right here.
Go ahead, bro. I'm right there with you.
Brothers ready?
This one.
All right. Are we standing on the square? Just as no drive. We got 2 on the right, 5 on the left. Repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Peace.
Freedom.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
And
my salvation. By night and by day. Through his holy prophet. Drew Ali. Amen. I yield the floor.
Indeed. Islam, thank you so much, Brother Benjamin Bey, for doing the introduction and leading us in with this holy /Venus, or space/space, Venus degree, right? Our holy degree, right? Friday, right? And because man formed in the flesh on a Friday and man departed out of flesh on a Friday. Refer to your 101 questions for Moorish Americans, right? And I know there's some signs and symbols at the top of this document, and I know there's certain jurisdictions that would say, hey, you know, this came from a certain jurisdiction. I'm not really caring about that as much as I'm caring about the substance and not clubism, all righty? And because ultimately, at the end of the day, we have Prophet Noble Drew Ali at the forefront of our minds. And behind that, it's being pure heart, being sincere intent, being love, being honor. All righty. So that's what and why we're going to be bringing up the documents that we are bringing up. And if anyone out there is in any particular group and or certain jurisdiction, and you may have an opinion, be clear that we're not promoting whatever particular jurisdiction or group that is. We're only promoting uplifting fallen humanity, Moorish, divine, and national movement of the world. All righty. And anything with under that umbrella, more power to you. And thank you so much for declaring and proclaiming your nationality. And I trust we remain in honor and keep doing honorable things. With that being said, I'm going to the 2 letters that are to be read in every meeting, not going to be verbose. We want to make sure we get straight to the point on this. Guys, with Veritas. However, we want to be respectful and read these 2 letters to be read in every meeting. All righty. And I'm reading from, of course, as you can see, administrative functions, pages 84 and 85. All righty. And the following letters to be read. The following is a letter written by Prophet Noble Drew Ali on the 18th day of January, 1928, Anno Domini. He commanded that it be read before every meeting. Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Home Office, 3603 Indiana Avenue. Noble Drew Ali, founder. Chicago, Illinois, January 18th, 1929. To be proclaimed in every meeting. Dear brother Islam, I am glad to know that I have few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy, quote unquote, about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, They are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they themselves may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that contribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it bad. Never before have I needed finance as badly as I do at present, that I may shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my quote unquote fame and nobility, period. The nations of the world will not recognize the Moorish movement without me, the prophet, being the head. It has been proven by my work, in which I have performed in the last few months, because I was at the governor's inauguration, and that was Lewis Lincoln Emerson at that time that was being inaugurated to be governor, to represent the Moorish Divine and National Movement, and I will be at the inauguration of President Hoover for the same cause. Noble Drawley. Second letter to be read in every meeting is coming out of the Moorish literature. It's termed the Moorish literature, excerpts from the Moorish Guide newspaper. Divine warning by the Prophet, Noble Drawley. Prophet warns all Muslim governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble Drawley, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by order of Prophet Noble Drawley. If you see in those two letters, first letter, Prophet Noble Drawley, was written in proper capitis minimis. And this one is written in all capitals. So that lets you know the first letter is speaking to let's say the first letter was very civic, and this one here is more religious corporate. Both of them are hand in hand on, and it must be read, because I want you to look at, actually see, it says Prophet Noble Drawley, all capitis. However, this letter here, Noble Drawley, capitis minimis. Autograph. All right. So even in that, just little things like that, just to pay attention and recognize, right? All righty, guys. What are we doing today, right? We're going over Veritas again. However, this time I have a celestial atlas up, as you guys know from the first Veritas video. As you guys can see, if you look just past, you see a celestial atlas by Alexander Jameson, 1822. That PDF does not exist anywhere on the internet except with us, because I tried to find it, and the only way I could compile it is once I got every page that I needed from a naval website. Veritas, the construction of the Median and Persian laws is really a much deeper title than that. We'll get into that. And then a tablet of memory. All three of those books go together, actually. And we have all three of them inside the Veritas folder inside of our astrology library within Prophet Noble Drew Ali University. All right, that's where we have it. Free access to Prophet Noble Drew Ali University to all true and faithful Muslims out there, and happy holy degree to all true and faithful Muslims globally and intergalactically. Let's move forward, shall we? Veritas, right? So what we're going to do, because what I wanted to do, let me point this out about Palm Sunday and point this out about Good Friday and show you this is about Passover and Easter. Brother Sean does have over there the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary ready to share. So we're going to split the screen share responsibilities as we always do. However, this one here, we want to make sure we're making points, make them quick, and possibly be complete by 12:30 Eastern, so that we can get on out and take little clips of this and send them out to you guys on different social medias. You know, tell you guys, come and look at the full video so you guys can actually see what's going on here. We're going to get straight to the point. All righty. And so you guys can just enjoy this, see how we're going over it. Tell us what you think once you get into it. If you got access to the library, I trust that this motivates you to go and find it, read along with us possibly. And, you know, start some study groups here, I guess. You know what I mean?
Virtual meta rooms.
Indeed. Veritas. The V is pronounced like a W in Latin. Veritas means truth. And I'm not talking about the popular YouTube channel. I'm really speaking just the revelations pertaining to mysteries, biblical, historical, and social. Biblical, historical, and social. This sounds like the means to social engineer people on the planet that don't know any better. By means of the Median and Persian laws. Hey, look at that. There's a triple tau, right? Key to the house of David, right? People just think that's a T and a H. No, that's 3 T's, the triple tau. And it's actually measuring something if you know how to use it properly. It's very astronomical, so to speak, sort of. Oh, what do you mean? Well, the so-called church never stopped observing the skies. Most temples and churches and stuff like that are astrological observatories. What you say, Brother Benjamin? I yield.
I was thinking the other day, when was live the other day? Yeah, Wednesday. I was like, every Wednesday you technically take them to church. Or we take them to church every Wednesday.
Correct.
Like I was thinking about it, I was like, we have church all the time.
Yes.
We're thinking about it, like,
with using that church being German for circle, right? Prophet Noble Drew Ali says, my good Moors are still in the church. So if we look at that from a higher thinking, yeah, we're always in the circle. We're always in the zodiac. We're always in the movement, in motion. Not the church that, you know, is popularized in dogma belief practices. Not that church. Not the one with the organs and people running and falling in floors. Not that one. Not knocking you guys that do that. You know, be careful out there running. Watch out for that column in the middle of the aisle. Omnia vincit veritas. Stop trying to hide your laugh, Brother Benjamin. Stop trying to
get to see. Just trying to, you know, give the person a laugh.
Omnia vincit veritas. Henry Melville, right? It's funny, the sun's in Aries now, right? Looky, Astro Cookie. Edited by F. Tennyson and A. Tudor, right? London, published for the author by A. Hall and Company, 25 Paternoster, all right? Row. Anno Domini 1874. 1874. It makes me want to go to Tablet of Memory already, right? Right? But let's I want to read this. I don't want to go into, hey, we know how to use it like this. We do that all the time, right? Let's have a little magic carpet story time, right? Hey, Harvard College Library, thank you. What, May 25th, 1927? What? Is that the year before our authority was established at Cook County? looky, Astro Cookie. Introduction. Let's have some fun, right? I know, right? You guys are going to be like, what are we doing here? I am going to read this because I think it is necessary. And if we don't read it, anything else after the introduction, it's just going to seem like, ooh, that's phenomenal. So instead of me going into Palm Sunday, Good Friday, Passover, and Easter, before we even get to that, let's get to introducing you all to Astromasonics. Is that a better thought? Because that's the un-velation that hit my mind today. I'm sitting here like, I didn't go and compile my notes like I really wanted to. Why is that, universe? The universe said, why don't you just introduce it to them first? Okay, we can go back to, we can do it like Quentin Tarantino. We started out with the middle of the movie last time we did Veritas. Now we're going to go to the beginning. If you watch any of Quentin Tarantino's films, that's usually how it goes. They always start in the beginning. The beginning is always the middle or the end, usually, when you watch a Quentin Tarantino film. Anyway,
the Astro appetizer.
Yeah, right.
Astro breakfast.
So I had the unvelation to switch gears, so to speak. And we're just going to go page for page. And I'm just going to read, and I'm going to do my best to just go through it quickly, share ideas, anything that sparks you guys, great. When I go, hold on, let's take a break. Boom, let's read Passover and Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. Boom, let's read this. So I'll do an introduction. Brother Sean has already cued Passover, right? Because today's Good Friday. No transits today. Can you guys believe that? I mean, look, I dare you to go find a transit today. I dare you. Right now, the moon is applying to Saturn, and I guarantee you that's the only thing that transit you got going on today. The moon applying, trying to Saturn. That's it. No transits today. You're waiting for the moon to trine Saturn. You're waiting for home to be in harmony with the essentials. So let's help you prepare for that, shall we? Here we go. Introduction. This is how you wait for the moon to trine Saturn, right? This is how you do it. It is 40 years since this work was in embryo. The mysterious yugs, I should zoom in, shouldn't I? Let me not make the people strain because I don't want y'all to search for truth too hard. The mysterious yugs of the East, revered as they are by far the greater portion of mankind, led me to believe there must be mysteries hidden by them. And the square, triangle, and V or compass, right? See, I just did that 4-3-2 because it shows you right there. Meant more than the mere esoteric symbols of the apprentice, which is the 2, the fellowcraft, which is the 3, and the master mason, which is the square. When known, what is more simple than the common alphabet? When known, what is more simple than the common alphabet? Hey, when known, I want to know what's more simple. You know, what is more simple than the common alphabet? Woo! You see, that's because you got stuff like this that you may not comprehend. And you see an all capital alphabet on one side and lowercase alphabet on another side. This is a Veritas astrolabe, not the kind of astrolabe you hold up to the sky and stuff. And, I'm gonna turn this, I'm holding the mater and we're going, no, that's not what we're doing. It's a different kind of astrolabe. All right. And yeah, I know I got some markings on there from previous studies, and it's actually marking out a part that's actually in this book. All righty. And this is sidereal astrology that we're going in on. So even though with Veritas, we found a way to be able to do the sidereal astrology immediately, because when we have the plates and we have our purple string or any thread of that sort, or go on here or whatever, we'll be able to show certain lines, and I'll show you that too. But let's continue reading. Pardon me. Make sure I ain't messing nothing up just now. All right, here we go. Yet, when unknown, it is incomprehensible. Right? When known, what is more simple than the common alphabet? Yet, when unknown, it is incomprehensible. 40 years ago, I knew not there was a classical universal alphabet to a universal celestial language. 40 years ago, I knew not there was a classical universal alphabet to a universal celestial language. Do I have to show y'all again? Like you want to start with A? Okay, let's start with A. A is right there, lowercase a. Right after the sun's glyph. At 111 arc royale or royal arc degrees. Oh, you're saying this is royal arc masonry? I'm not getting into anything. Look, this is it. Masons, my son. I am a freeborn master mason. I didn't have to be made over again in some lodge. Because I affirm, I take no oaths. Are we clear on that?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Back and forth.
Islam, bro. Time passed on and I discovered that the religions of the Buddhists, of the Hindus, of the Chinese, and the Mohammedans were all more or less astronomical. And assuredly, all were astro-masonical. Assuredly. Yeah, brother. Yeah, drop the bomb and Brother Corey sprinkles on that too, Brother Benjamin.
My man walked out.
Brother Sean walked out.
I don't know if he's really gone somewhere, but I love it.
It was perfect timing, right?
Yeah.
Believing, as Henry Melville does, that there can be but one call upon or one constellation. But see, y'all don't know that God is to call upon if you ain't see the etymology, or it's constellation if you haven't read this book. One grand architect pertaining to the universe. I was induced to examine the Orthodox Bible. The Orthodox, but man, I need to highlight that. I need to highlight that part because it means something different to me now. It does. It just means something different, man. Orthodox Bible. Because anytime I hear the word Orthodox now, I think Astro-Masonics. Every time, bro. Every time I hear Orthodox, I think, Brother Hasan thinks, y'all don't have to adopt this thinking. Brother Hasan thinks, every time the calendar says Orthodox Easter is the 24th, right? So you guys want to witness Easter, your Easter, on the 17th. But on the 24th is going to be Orthodox Easter. So that means it's going to be Astro-Masonic Easter on the 24th. Is that clear?
Clear.
And continuing, I was induced to examine the Orthodox Bible dedicated to James. I waited. Seriatim. Oh, what does seriatim mean? Brother Benjamin is on etymology, right?
You're
What's seriatim?
Seriati.
Can we find that? Seriatim. And I'm going to continue so that people can have a comprehension of what seriatim means.
All right. Maybe if you're ready, I'm down.
What is it?
It means one after another, from medieval Latin, seriatim, from Latin series, row, series, sequence, succession, from seri, and that's S-R-S-E-R-E-R-E, to join together, arrange in a row, from Proto-Indo-European root, S-E-R, sir, to, in brackets, to line up.
So waded, like wade, W-A-D-E, like this, like the old so-called spiritual wade in the water, children.
That made me thinking out
right?
loud, sure.
Right? Wade means to actually wading, like ducks wade. A swan wades. So slowly but surely, you're just in the water, wading, right? All right. So Henry Melville says, I waded seriatim through the list of substantive list of substantives and indexed by Cruden. So obviously there were some things there, and he's like, man, I'm going through this, in a row. I'm not skipping it. I'm going in series. I'm starting with 1, then I'm going to 2, then I'm going. So that's what that means. I waded seriatim. Yeah. Cool. Now y'all can start merging that in the culture. Turn that, instead of saying, man, I've been here for a minute. Make it cool to say, man, I waited seriati.
That's hard.
Through the consecutive minutes as I watched my watch, right? Something, right? Because you're watching the time go by, right? Can you say that? You know, this is about upping your vocabulary. I trust that we're inspiring that and encouraging everyone to do so. I weighted seriati through the list of substantives as indexed by Cruden. And after a fashion, I construed celestially upwards of 2,400 biblical passages.
Wow.
When arriving at the word wall, quote unquote, a sudden gleam of light dawned upon me, and I reasoned that wall, quote unquote, might indicate a celestial partition or celestial color. Can you look up the term color when it's C-O-L-U-R-E, Brother Benjamin? C-O-L-U-R-E. C-O-L-U-R-E. But whether the equinoxial, pardon me, you ready?
Oh, no, it's not in Etymon online. C-O-L-U-R-E.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that one isn't popping up, but I'll go to another source.
Yeah, because it's archaic. Color is a little archaic.
Heard.
It's fine, though. I'll continue reading. But whether equinoxial or solstitial, I then had no means of deciding. All was chaos. For my adopted wall, quote unquote, did not correspond with the equinox or solstice of any known celestial spheres. He said any known celestial spheres. Pardon me?
I said I'm ready when you are to speak about color, C-O-L-U-R-E.
I yield the floor to you, brother.
Islam, either of two great circles intersecting at right angles at the celestial poles, passing through the ecliptic at either equinoxes or the solstice, and that is color, C-O-L-U-R-E.
And your reference there, what do you read?
Just Google, C-O-L-U-R-E meaning. I go to the first thing I see. I read it, and if it was wrong, my brother would have been like, "Hey, keep doing some searching." So I may have hit something that he allowed me to read, not allowed me, allowed me to continue to.
It didn't sound wrong.
Right. It sounded orthodox.
Didn't sound wrong at all. So it sounds very astro-masonically aligned. All righty. So let's continue. Unwittingly, I had partly opened a mystic lock, and yet, pardon me, I just tried to, hold on, let me take the markings off, pardon me. I still had the mark up on.
I think you made that, actually. Now looking at this picture.
What picture?
Of the core? Yeah, it's like the Earth, and then they got the celestial equator around it, and you got the ecliptic color.
Oh, yeah, those pictures that I did, when I drew them, yeah. It's an armillary, armillary.
Armillary, all right.
Yeah, well, armillaries is what you see, when people have like globes, but they're not globes, but they're like, it's like you can see through them, but it's like you see a band of the zodiac, and then you'll see like a meridian. Yeah, you'll see like the different lines and stuff. If you just look up armillary, you'll see what it is. There's an actual application out there, an armillary app. Every true celestial observer would love to have both a globe and an armillary. They would love to. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Armillaries and globes, Boaz and Yakin. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. All righty. Let's unwittingly, I had partly unlocked a mystic key, and yet I knew nothing of keys that had long been in my possession, and which keys were constructed, to open wide the celestial sesame. Year after year passed away, and I became more and more convinced that the foundations of all intellectual religions, ancient as well as modern, had but one and the same origin, and that origin was heavenly or celestial. Should I read that highlighted portion again? I think I should.
One time.
Run that back, DJ.
For the ones in the back.
Year after year passed away, and I became more and more convinced that the foundation of all intellectual religions, ancient as well as modern, had but one and the same origin, and that origin was heavenly or celestial. The revelation of St. John strongly confirmed my opinion, for I soon found that the strange personations of the apocalypse were to be traced to Eastern creeds, and that their similars, or rather their original types, were to be found in all ordinary celestial atlases. The next of the revelations specifies the symbols, but I afterwards discovered that keys and laws were required in order to comprehend the language and the meaning of the writer. Day by day, as I advanced in my researches, I learned that the knowledge I was acquiring constituted the, quote, lost mysteries, end quote, of Masonry. And being one of the fraternity and believing that the fearful obligations really meant sacred pledges, in the year 1848, I voyaged some 15,000 miles expressly to lay my discoveries before the Earl of Zetland and then Grand Master of England. I thought with me to London, thank you for your patience. I brought with me to London influential Masonic introductory letters setting forth my discoveries, but the Grand Master of England and his Grand Secretary, White, treated my introductions, my discoveries, and myself with silent contumely. Want to look up contumely? C-O-N-T-U-M-E-L-E. Contumely or contumely. Because it looks like the root word is contum. Whereas L-Y, contumely, would be an adverb. L-Y gives you adverb. My discoveries and myself and the introductions were all treated with silent contumely, for as good Dr. George Oliver then observed, Brother Secretary White considered Freemasonry as a commercial speculation. Goodness gracious. Woo!
Oh, commercial speculation.
This is the most fiery introduction I've ever read. I'm trying, well, not really. I'm just saying, though. It is when it comes to this topic.
I'll follow you up with contumely, insolent, offensive, abusive, late 14th century, from Old French contumely, from Latin contumere. I'm trying to butcher that. A reproach, insult, probably derived from contumats, haughty, stubborn, insolent, unyielding, used especially of those who refuse to appear in court of justice in answer to a lawful summons. From assimilated, from a simulated form of come here, probably as intensive prefix, see come, plus to swell up, from Proto-Indo-European root to T-E-U-E, to swell.
Got you. When it say, is it comhere, C-O-M, and then ere is H-E-R-E?
No, it was C-O-M-T-U-M-E-R-E, to swell.
Oh, contumere. Got you.
Yeah, contumere. And then they get two again, I guess, T-E-U-E, to swell. And then T-U-M-E-R-E means to swell as well.
Correct. So
T-E-U-E is the Proto-Indo-European.
So if you have a contracted relationship with someone and you guys are obligated to respond to each other's posts, then what he said here is, hey, I thought we were brothers and you're fucking ignoring me like we don't work, like we're not obligated to be brothers to one another. That's what contumely means in this context. as he wrote it, where he's saying that, you know, Grand Secretary White treated his introductions, discoveries, and himself with silent insolence, with silent, I don't have to respond to you type energy. With silence, with silent, I don't owe you shit. Kind of. I'm sorry, pardon.
Mars and Cancer.
Sort of, kind of ish, sort of. I would say more of because it's ignoring it. Mars is Mars in Cancer gets a bad rap sometimes because Mars in Cancer is usually the abusive mother. Mars in Cancer is usually a woman's been, you know, raped, right? That's sometimes Mars in Cancer gets that. Let's see the brighter side of Mars in Cancer, though. That's an active home. Maybe that's a mother that will fight for you know, her family. Maybe that's some very active security. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's a possibility. However, in terms of what you're saying here, whereas, yes, Mars would be active. Cancer, that's where responsibility happens. So I can't really disagree with you, Brother Benjamin, the more I think about it. So if Mars is defiantly in Cancer, then yes, that's what I'll say there. Yeah, bro. That is a bit of defiance, actually, right? But what do we know? We're just reading something from 1927 out of Harvard's library, right? All right, let's continue. Here we go. This is fun. I'm enjoying this a lot already. I'm really liking this. Let's go. So, for as good Dr. George Oliver then observed, quote, Secretary Brother White. So this is George Oliver saying, obviously, you know, I'm not saying to Henry Melville. I'm thinking he's just reading something because these are beings that keep records. If they're not public, they're in their lodges. All right. Secretary Brother White considered Freemasonry. So this is George Oliver, Dr. George Oliver, referring to Grand Secretary White. Secretary Brother White considered Freemasonry as a commercial speculation and estimated its value by the amount of money it put into his purse, end quote. And there's an asterisk next there, and it's telling you in Latin to go see Day. What'd you say, Brother Benjamin?
I say they had those little like purses then, those little things that the guys wear. I don't know if they wear those in Baltimore.
A satchel.
A satchel. Gotcha.
Right? Day, because there was an asterisk next to that after that quotation. Letter to H.M. dated Shopwick Vicarage. 4th October 1849. That might be some tablet of memory coding there. But let's just keep going, right? Let's just keep going. I think this is good. Do we do a Veritas series now? Like wherever we stop today, do we continue next Friday? I don't know. It's up to Brother Benjamin. Fridays is Brother Benjamin's thing. All right, we'll see. Let's continue, right? What'd you say, bro?
I said I'll check my schedule.
I
was trying to make him a professional. His Brother Benjamin's name is all right. Let me put my thinking face and my schedule face. I'm kidding. I was just joking.
It's love. All right, let's do it. Right? Brother Corey's going off in the chat on Instagram, isn't he?
For sure.
All right.
Need I say more?
I just keep hearing
Need I type more?
Right. All right, let's continue. Verily, with Brother White, Masonry was a shell without a kernel, a skull without brains. Woo! Man, it's just the introduction. Dispirited, hey, his spirit broke now. This man is writing, look, man, I went to my brothers that's supposed to be backing me on this. And I feel like I'm a little discouraged and dispirited now. This is what this guy's documenting. I returned to my adopted country. I returned to my adopted country. This guy's a foreigner. Yet perseverance urged me on. And as it were a secret silent monitor, quote unquote, Veritas, ruled me, quote, to write and make plain that he, pardon me, that is, I remember when I first read that, it said, let that lie. That's not it. That's the part of the H that's just a little faded away. That he may run that readeth. Again, dispirited because I went to some brothers that's supposed to have my back, but didn't. I returned to my adopted country, yet perseverance urged me on, and as it were a secret silent monitor, Veritas, quote unquote, ruled me, quote, to write and make plain that he may run that readeth, end quote. In other words, yo, I want to make this so plain that if you read it, you'll be like, oh shit, yo, this how you do this? Hey, look, man, let me go tell my brothers. Let me go tell some mothers if they would be interested. To write and make plain that he may run that readeth, and that's in Habakkuk, 2nd chapter, 2nd verse. For those that don't know the Bible, right? Isn't it called Habakkuk? Y'all never even heard that part of the Bible, have y'all? Look it up real quick. Go to Bible Gateway, right? Habakkuk. I think that's how it's pronounced. Degree 2, minute 2. Right?
All right, let's see. Habakkuk, 1, 2, 3.
Spell it. Spell Habakkuk.
Habakkuk.
Exactly. Habakkuk.
What that say? Degree
2. Degree 2, minute 2. That's where he's quoting to write and make plain that he may run that readeth.
All right. The Lord's answer.
The what? The whose answer?
The Lord's answer.
That's you telling me that's chapter 2 or degree 2 in Habakkuk?
Yes. And then the Lord replied, write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets so that a herald may run with it.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I want to keep reading stuff and then stopping and cross-referencing with other references because that's what we're supposed to do, right? And I have since endeavored to do so, right? Make plain that he may run that reader. As I advanced in my researches, I became master of certain combinations in the heavens, which rendered portions of my sacred writings celestially intelligible, which means you can really, really get what he's saying. Because if something's intelligible, that means it's clear. You can see the separation from everything. Like intelligibility is like the original. Whereas something usually unintelligible, like a screenshot, is not as intelligible as the original photo. The original photo usually has way more intelligibility than a screenshot, just like an original has way more intelligibility than a copy. Without being aware, I had stumbled on results depending on Median and Persian laws. Why didn't Brother Hasan say Persian? Because I'm not going to be a liar. Imperceptibly, do we need to look up imperceptibly?
We have to. I don't know.
Do we have to?
I got you.
Not able to perceive, because M is not. Ibli is the ability to or being able to, and percept is being able. Per is by, cept is receive. So not by taking able or not being able to take in. Let's see if that's what it is. I just did that off of breaking down imperceptibly, just going off of syllabicating. Let's see if Brother Hasan's loud and wrong. Is Brother Hasan loud and wrong? What does imperceptibly mean? No reference in front of me. I'm not reading anything. Just want to make sure.
Not opposite of. It's respelling it. CN, perceptible, imperceptibility, impossible or difficult to perceive by the mind or senses.
Got it. Just want to make sure I was so I was kind of on point, right? Just
I mean, for sure.
Okay, cool. So so imperceptibly, those median and Persian laws perfected themselves, but the rules for their construction long remained unknown to me. Multitudes have attempted to prove that the Bible cannot be true. And at one time, I doubted its veracity. Do we need to look up veracity? We can continue. But now, I not only became convinced pertaining to the truth, pertaining to the sacred volume, but I am in a position to prove every word to be true according to heavenly laws, which never alter, which never alter, which never alter. Ooh!
They are veracity. You can't the unwillingness to tell lies. It's veracity for those who
hold on. Veracity is what? Say it again.
The unwillingness to tell lies.
The unwillingness to be cat.
Dang, April taught me how to say no cap in Latin yesterday, dog. Bro. I got you, though. I got you. Actually, I was like, cause it was something. Oh, gosh, I should try to remember. She wrote down something else, but I was like, because I didn't say no cap in what was that? He said it's like no head or something, but yeah, I would think like no compressor, but it wasn't that. I'm gonna hit a horn, but like, how do you do that? How do you say no cap in that? So,
basically, because no cap is a way of saying I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth.
Yeah. No limite. There we go. In Latin, cap is like, we looked up actual cap in Latin. It's like limite. So it's like limite is like cap. So somebody's cap is like limite, because you're limiting, like, you know, the lot, whatever it's saying, like a cap.
Well, if it's giving you limite, then it's referring to cap as capacity. Being able to hold a certain amount, which would have a limit to it.
True.
Because there would be some bounds to it, right?
For that, for sure.
I'm going to keep just reading plainly until we get to breaking down how years are really set up. Because people are going to be looking at 1864 like it's a year, and we know how to look at it astro-masonically, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be completely honest with you, we know how to look at it astro-masonically. So let me even think. When we looked at 362, right? And you add up 362, right? That should get you 15 times 3, which is 45, plus 62 gets you 107, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's looked at. So we should be looking at this as 18 times 15 gets you what? It's really not hard. It's 18 times 10 plus 18 times 5. So that's 180 plus 90.
270.
Plus 64.
334.
You see what I'm saying? So we already know right there. If we was to go, let me have some fun real quick. You said 334, right, bro?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna go to 334 right here, right? Right between 331 and 336, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Within the tribe of Reuben, prophet Matthew, no disciples though. You see that? You see as high as no disciples in Aquarius? Y'all see that? No disciples.
Yeah. It'd be like that. You got it. Okay.
Say that again. It was like what, bro? I just couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
I said it looked like you have to know, like you are the one that you're you're a disciple. You know? Like, well, that's how I'm viewing it. Like, you'd be like, nah, but since there's no one there, there's no one to tell the story or anything. So I'd assume everyone else is discipling something. So you're here to, you know, man knows not by being told this time. So you're gonna have to go disciple yourself. You know, be a priest amongst yourself this time for that Aquarius blank space.
It's funny because Matthew
did say so, but
it's not. I mean, Matthew was. Well, you're right, and Matthew was the disciple that was a tax collector. So I find that very interesting that there's no disciple after Matthew, which kind of just lets me know, did Matthew not teach? But we all know that that's allegorical. So we're really sitting here just having a
what if LeBron could play with Michael
a celestial fiction sort of kind of biblical fiction story, whatever. What'd you say?
I was saying, like, as far as like Matthew not being like a real person, we can't actually know what he was actually doing. And to be like seeing if LeBron James was playing like Michael Jordan times type deal.
Correct. Exactly. That's it's kind of retrospecting or trying to retroactively place things in. But that's kind of a violation in law because everything existed when it existed, how it was supposed to existed for that time. But you're spot on though, bro. But then continuing.
Okay.
In the year 1864, an esteemed friend, Brother W.N. Crawford, to whom I had entrusted a few MS pages of my work on cosmogony. Read the papers before the Archaeological Society in Paris. So that's at the bottom. See, that looks like Galignani's. See Galignani's messenger from the 9th March 1864, headed speculative astronomy. All righty. MS. What is capital M, capital S period? Let's see what we find on that. Means what? Capital M, capital S means what in literary? Capital M, capital S means what in literary? To whom I have entrusted a few pages pertaining to my work on cosmogony, right? Capital M, capital S period.
Master of Science.
Read the papers. He read these papers. A few Master Science pages. That's what you think you got there? Okay.
Yeah, let me keep looking. MS.
That's not bad. Probably need to go to the Masonic dictionary that we have, but it's all good. I just want to get that,
Master of Science. Latin Magister Scientiae. Magister Scientiae or Master of Science. This is coming from the Free Dictionary.
Okay, that's fine. I'll stick with that because that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. He's being a master of, some science, right? Let's do it. All right. In the year 1864, an esteemed friend, Brother W.N. Crawford, to whom I had entrusted a few master. What was the term again?
Master of Science.
Master of Science. But what was it in Latin, though?
Magister Scientiae.
Magister Scientiae.
Yeah.
Scientiae or Scientia?
It's Scientia. Scientiae.
Oh, Thai. Magister Scientiae. Magister Scientiae is how that would be pronounced in Latin. Magister Scientiae. All right, cool. Perfect. Magister Scientiae. All right, so 1864, an esteemed friend, Brother W.N. Crawford, to whom I had entrusted a few Magister Scienti pages of my work on cosmogony, read the papers before the Archaeological Society in Paris. His doing so was to me most fortunate, for it led to an introduction to Mrs. General Lane, a Franc thief. Interessante, that word thief. Fife, thief. Woo, boy. Sounds so opposite of allodial. Franc thief, Jersey, right? Of Franc thief, Jersey. That's where she was from, right? Now we got to see what that cross means there, right? The general and lady had long resided in India, and Mrs. Lane is well versed in Oriental literature. So in other words, she's an adept. Whose powerful mind at once induced her to believe that a new and extensive field of investigation might be opened by interpreting the sacred celestial mysteries of the Eastern nations. Although residing in the antipodes to each other, do we need to look up antipodes? Because it almost looks like anti, which is against, and podes, feet. So against the feet or against the settlement. But let's see, let's look up antipodes and see what it means. To each other. Although residing in the antipodes to each other, which means it seems like opposite directions or some shit. Go ahead.
All right. Persons, all right, late 14th century, persons who dwell on the opposite side of the globe from 1500s as country or region on the opposite side of the earth, from Latin antipodes, that's definitely not Latin, those on the opposite side of the earth, from Greek antipodes, plural of antipos, with feet opposite ours, from anti-opposite, see anti plus paus, foot. Proto-Indo-European root, head or foot.
See, when you really embrace etymology, and you really, because you learn so many languages in etymology when you're really learning it without even knowing how to really speak them, where you can look at compound terms and go, okay, anti means against or up against or opposite to, or you know what I'm saying? And podis just looks like feet. Pod, peds, peed. Oh, that's feet to me. So their feet is at a place totally on the opposite end of someone else's feet. That's how I saw antipodes. I didn't really know that was Brother Benjamin is going to read. However, I do trust my own thinking, as we can see. All righty. Although residing in the antipodes to each other, I soon found I had gained a sincere supporter in Mrs. Lane. In other words, she ain't even from around my way, and Shorty is supporting me.
So it's like that, brother.
She from the other end of the planet, and she fucking with me. That's what he's saying. Pardon my language, y'all. I'm putting it in those terms just to make it a little comedic, because some of us we still like that. We still like to hear a little ratchetness. It's okay. All righty, I'm going to continue now. All right, let's go. And happy am I now to record that I also found her endowed with a mastermind. I found that my new friend would not condemn discoveries because antagonistical to fashionable creeds. Right? Because she's not, in other words, hey man, I got something fresh and new. She gonna be like, let me check that out. I ain't gonna sit here and knock it because everybody else out there jumping off the cliff. Let me see this so-called thing you doing that's not jumping off the cliff. Let me. Oh, it's called having common sense. Let me see you do more of having common sense. Show me more. That's basically what that's saying there. Because the fashionable creeds is definitely believing like an idiot, jumping off of cliffs without parachutes. Anyway, jumping off of bridges without bungee cords. Nor would Mrs. Lane disparage reasonable theories merely because they were not in accordance with modern European parrot-taught scholastic philosophy. Don't you wish you met this author? I'm gonna tell you, it's like, bro, yo, come kick it with 7 Hill Star real quick. We want to have you on Impromptu Improv. We actually are. we are having Henry Melville on Impromptu Improv right now. He's just delivering through us right now, right? By us reading his musings right now, right? From our introduction, I have received from her continual assistance in preparing this work for publication. At the suggestion of my friends, I again came to England in 1866. For the purpose of bringing, Brother Benjamin, what you started doing the math in your you started doing the math. I saw your face. It sounded like you started doing the math in your head. All right. At the suggestion of my friends, I again came to England in 1866 for the purpose of bringing my discoveries in an improved state before the Grand Lodge. So in other words, I came the last time, the Lodge was on some BS, but y'all seem a little improved now. Your status is improved. So I'm coming before the Grand Lodge, it being considered that the sacred truths should be retained by the order to whom they properly belong, but it doesn't seem like they belong to anybody. That's what Henry Melville is actually saying here, if you're really paying attention. The whole time he's saying, don't nobody care outside of finances and commerciality? Okay, then none of you are claiming it don't belong to none of you then.
Stop the gatekeeping.
Basically, stop the gatekeeping. You're a liar. Stop lying. This time I applied. So he's begging, he prayed, he applied. Sir, please, will you listen to my dissertation on astromasonry? Right? This time, please, sir, would you please like to hear how I look at stars? This time I applied to a gentleman and a scholar, although a Mason. I applied to the then Deputy Grand Master of England, but without success, as Earl de Grey and Ripon decided. Or regenerating the dominant science, but I only aroused a set of Masonic scorpions. Let's read that. Let's read what he's saying there. Let's read that asterisk. On a late occasion at an encampment of Knights Templars, His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, stated that, quote, he had to make an agreeable announcement. They were all aware that the Queen was the patroness of craft masonry, and he had Her Majesty's permission to state now that she would be the patroness of their order, Templars, end quote. So in other words, what he was basically saying was, hey man, that's gonna be our shit, man. You know what I mean? And we gonna run with it how we say, cool, that's cool. You grab whatever. Yeah, whatever. You did whatever. Look here, man, take this bread, go eat somewhere, man, take care of your family. And you know, so that's what that sounds like. Masonic scorpions, mothers and sons that grab you at the ankles and then stab you in the heart with their tail. Is that what you're saying? That's how I imagine someone being a scorpion. That's how I see it. You want to mess with my Scorpio moon and I'm not letting up? Yeah, I just grabbed your ankles and I just put that poison in your chest because you should be loving.
It's great. Wow, it's like,
anybody wants to correct me, I'm always open for correction out there. Not just by my brothers, but please, when you come with some correction, you better come with some verifiable and researchable things for us to research ourselves for our own discovery and then make proper rebuttal and or correction.
And teach our families if it's right.
Period. Right? Period. Suffering in health, Henry Melville again left England, but Mrs. Lane, with unabated interest in Henry's discoveries, she was kind enough ultimately to procure for Brother F. Tennyson and myself, so for Tennyson and Henry Melville, an interview with the Duke of Leinster, the Grand Master of Ireland. Are y'all paying attention here to see are y'all paying attention that when you thinking dukes and duchesses and queens, I hope y'all can see that this is all the masonry. It's what it's always ever been. God, they're practicing our culture. You guys just gotta wake up. You stop calling yourselves Negro, Black, colored. You're the mothers and fathers of civilization. You're astro-Masonic geniuses that have bumped your head, Dorothy. Doro, gift, fee, God. You're a gift of God. Now click your ruby slippers 3 times. Click the, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, Toto. No, you're not, Diana Ross. Go and see The Wiz now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Wiz. You definitely have to look right now. Not the Wiz about The Wiz.
You can win, child.
The Wiz Kelly, y'all.
The Grand Master of Ireland. It was the last expiring hope. Man, yo, that woman really had your back, yo. Mrs. Lane, she like, you know what? Bump that, yo. I got your back. I'm gonna sit you in front of my homie, the Duke of Ireland. Hey, hold on, let me hit him. Woo-hoo! Hey, yo, Duke, I got my peoples over here. I want to show you something about the sky. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna send them over. Make sure you know what I mean, take care. That's what she just did. That's what she just did.
I'm basically hollering my peoples. I know my peoples. I'm hollering my peoples for you. I'm gonna look out.
Flat out. Give my man, you know what I mean? Give my man your ear, man. And we got to do something X, Y, and Z. I'm not going front though. That's why I do like what I read about the Grand Lodge of Ireland as far as them maintaining, you know, some astro-Masonic facts within the poetic fiction that we get a lot when analyzing these things. But you'll see when we get into it. And I will show you how these things have been preserved in pictures.
As they call respecting the game, as for the, you know, our brothers and sisters who want to learn on a lower level. You know.
Islam.
How they respected the game of astrology that we preserve.
Correct. Not throwing that cap in it.
Yes.
we keeping it as capless as possible.
That's hard.
we're gonna keep it as capless as possible.
While wearing our
Fezes, right? While wearing our thinking caps, we're gonna keep it as capless as possible. All right. But you know, well, it's because we're fathers of the eternal zodiac, so that's why we have on our tiaras. All right, so here we go. It's our birthright. So Mrs. Lane hooked me up with the Duke of Leinster, right? The Grand Master of Ireland. It was the last expiring hope. And if that failed, no other course remained than the publication of mysteries, self-publishing. Like, man, if y'all ain't gonna back me, y'all supposed to be my brothers. Y'all supposed to be my brothers. And won't none of y'all even listen or put bread behind me putting this out? Fuck it, I might gotta self-publish then. I gotta do my own thing. Since you ain't gonna have my back, I'm gonna do my own thing then. I'm gonna have my own crew of Astro Masons. You feel me?
Without just wanting the finance of it.
You feel me? Like, come on, man. This truth gotta get out here, yo. We all could benefit. Oh, you don't care? Because it don't make your purse fatter? All right, let me go holler. Oh, damn, y'all don't care? Hey, man. Well, dang, I'm glad this woman like what I'm doing.
Man,
and it don't seem like they knocking boots. It don't seem like, you know, it seems like it's real professional. She like, look, yo, your mind is on point. I'm a matron of my lodge, basically.
It's like you and Jess. What kind of, it's pretty funny dude, but it's like, you know, how like, you know, you're more and she like can get a phone call with a certain Albion to get you in the door. It's not like you need it, but you know, as far as like you going to our brothers and sisters that we can do things as a group, which is like, you're not gonna help her, bro. But the Albion is helping me, why not you type deal. So it's like, you know, so this woman helping me, we have a brotherhood, like, you know, not excluding y'all, but we had a bond. Yeah, not that what I do. So it's like hurt even more. So yeah, I see what you're saying. Like disheartening, especially when you're dealing with like something with humanity. Like this is not some BS. Like we control people's minds. These genuinely concerned about that. Like, this getting in the wrong hands as it is. Like, yo, I don't feel good about this. Like, he like, no, I'm letting me out the car. Let me go. Let me out the car, though, B. Like, you know, you go let me out the car, though. Type deal. That's what but I hear. Like, you know, I'm not a part
and
of
after I finish this paragraph here, before I continue reading, we're going to take a break by having Brother Sean read from the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. I'm going to stop my screen share. Brother Sean is going to start his screen share, and he's going to read the metaphysical denotations pertaining to Passover and Easter. All right. Let me continue. Because again, it's just the introduction here, right? And I would like to be done by 12:30. And maybe, like I said, maybe Brother Benjamin, you know, we can continue reading Veritas next cycle. Let's have a story time. Our impromptu improv is story time for now. And since I don't have school this cycle, we probably could go a little longer, actually. Or maybe we could stop at 12:30 and do another live so that people can see little chunks of lives, right? Why don't we do that? Do we stop this live at 12:30 and then start over again and just do a part 2? If you're up for it, I'm up for it. All right, here we go. Now that we see that he wouldn't get support from his brothers, because he said, man, if I don't get y'all, man, and look, if this fails, no other course remains but me to do my own publishing. We came to London and met the Grand Master, and in justice to his grace, it must be said that he expressed himself most anxious that the discoveries should be properly inquired into. Let me read that again. We came to London and met the Grand Master, and in justice to his grace, it must be said that he expressed himself most anxiously that the discovery should be properly inquired into and as well be seen by the correspondence hereafter set forth. A, quote, special Irish committee, Hibernian committee, right? Special Irish committee, quote unquote, was appointed, consisting of the Deputy Grand Master, the Honorable Judge Townsend, and George Chatterton, Esquire. And by this committee, as will be seen, we have been treated with silent contempt, proving clearly to my mind that men may become very exalted Masons without necessarily becoming fraternal. Woo! What year is this again? It's my man talking about back in the he said 1866. I went back to London. This is 22 years before this, pardon me, this is 20 years before the prophet manifests from his mother's womb.
And they were like arguing over like astronomic, astrology.
And there's somebody that's like, brothers, look, I found something that's gonna help us. And they're like, man, you don't get on my face with that. It's the same story. Listen, if you read about David and Goliath, right? David was a shepherd. If y'all don't get what a shepherd is back in the day, a shepherd is the equivalent of you working at McDonald's. You remember how back in the day, McDonald's only give you 5? Well, see, y'all might be a different generation. Let me tell on my age real quick, all right? I manifested in 1984. I remember that at one point in time, if you was trying to talk to a sister, you wouldn't tell her you worked at McDonald's. Now it's a little different. People was like, oh, shoot, at least he worked at McDonald's. He got a job. When I was coming up, you kept working at McDonald's a secret. Why? Because you don't want Shorty to be like, you smell like French fries. What you been doing all day? Oh, shit, you know, I stopped at the McDonald's earlier, right? And my peoples was there. Man, I had a long conversation. We was there for like almost like 5-6 hours. Stop lying. That was your shift.
I'm gonna say a whole 6 hours with your people, a whole 6 hours with you.
Like,
the McDonald's just talking?
What was you talking about? Let me stop.
That's ordering after a while, isn't it? Isn't it trespassing after a while, brother?
What were you discussing?
Wrap it up, son.
What was the Mick conversation? Let me stop. Anyway,
Oh, man.
I'm just saying, you know, anyway. You definitely couldn't get your Big Mac on back in the day like that, but we won't go there anyway.
The big message.
I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm gonna let it go. All right, let's continue, right? And now, as an act of gratitude, I respectfully dedicate this work to Mrs. Maria Lane of Frankfurt, Jersey. Goodness gracious. Did you hear what that man just did? He said, out of everybody, he said Brother Sean's line, and I gotta say it. So pardon me in advance, y'all. I'm about to quote Brother Sean, and it's gonna come with something after I say it. Brother Sean's gonna say something. And this is just the inside thing that we do, but now you all can learn it. Fuck with who fucks with you.
I mean,
He actually said that today. We was talking today. He actually said that today. That's a great story, a real story to, fuck with you. If it's not your brothers, not your sisters, so be it. The universe gives you what you need, not what you want. You want your bros, you want your peoples, but you need someone that's opposite of them. Someone antipode, if I'm using that right, which, opposite isn't always bad.
Some people will probably, but Brother Benjamin, wouldn't some people probably disagree with this, with Henry Melville, and be like, oh, dang, he sat there and ousted all these people in the lodge. He ain't cool. He on some goofball shit. He a hater. Is he? Or did he just document his experience? He seems very honorable in his wording.
And did he also show the real haters, right?
He didn't clown anybody. He was just like, this is what I did. I went to these places. I talked to them. I researched this. This is what I went through. Like, it ain't like, oh, he say, she say, like allegorically in the Bible. None of the people that were speaking about you that was like seen. I'm not hating on that, but that's a part of the thing too. Like, why is that? Really. That's the reason why they couldn't, man knows not being told, and they're telling you everything in there, so you may want to like look for yourself and get some stuff out of that. But here he's actually telling you, and he laces it with an actual woman in respect, like, hey, I appreciate you giving your time that you didn't have to do. She didn't go to him for like what he knew, because she could have like seen like his sincerity and but you can get finance out this, you can do this, like play that in his hand. He's like, no, I see what direction you're going, so I'm gonna take you in this direction. She didn't want anything out of it, and she's stamped forever in history or future right now. So he brought her along, so along knowing him, we get to know Miss Maria Lane and let her be inspiration to somebody like, hey, you always ain't gotta be on the same life path as people, but you see somebody needs like a little water in their bottle, and you got something to spare, just top them off, in a respectable manner. You see what I'm saying? Because he was just looking for a brother, and that's a style, man, that blows, and that could turn someone evil. With what he knew, he can be like, man, F everybody now. I'm gonna be just a joker. And I'm gonna just go against my bros and not a plan. I'm gonna just go take over myself. And so it's honorable. It's hella honorable for sure. It's people that are opportunists in the heart and only seek what they can get out of it. It's like fire. Let's go burn down stuff. It's like, okay, we can feed a lot of people as well. We can warm up a lot of things as well, and that's what you're trying to do. But you're always gonna have those Judases, and that. Right there again, that's just Judas is everywhere, just seeing what they can get. Dirty feet dirty feet people. You always gonna have the dirty foots. Hashtag dirty foots.
That's why one of the most common principles that I did learn, because I did it one time, took my Kalima Shahada in the Nation of Islam, Muhammad's Temple of Islam #1. I've been baptized at the Holy City of Zion, as they call it now, New Psalmist Baptist Church. I've been in these places. I've walked through these halls. However, I see clearly now that it's a David situation. Back to David. David was a shepherd. And David went all around to his brothers to find out what was going on with this Goliath issue. And when David wanted to go, hey, guys, I think we can solve the issue like this. And they was like, motherfucker, you work at McDonald's. Get out of here. Go flip some burgers. Pull them fries up. Throw some salt on them fries. Right? You're a shepherd. Go attend to them sheep. That's what David was. David was a shepherd. The shepherd was the equivalent of working at McDonald's back in the 90s. That's all I'm saying. Right? So, with that being said, what David ended up doing, though, he went to the brook and got 5 smooth stones. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Why are they smooth? Because it's moving water, and the water moving through the rocks now are smoothing out their edges by rubbing up against each other. So he goes to the brook and get these smooth aerodynamic rocks for his sling. 5 principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. 5 smooth stones. He throws love first and completely misses Goliath. He throws truth and then penetrates Goliath's pineal gland and then takes Goliath's words. Let me take the word words and put the S at the beginning. He takes Goliath's sword, actually, and decapitates Goliath. And now he takes that skull to what you now call Golgotha or Calvary, right? And that's what Henry Melville did. He came to his brothers. He said, we can do this with Goliath. And they was like, man, if it ain't fattening my purse, go back and tend to them sheep, man. Yeah, whatever.
See you later, fry guy.
Then he came across the Masonic Scorpions, and they was like, all right, that's cool, but you got to keep quiet if we take it. And he was like, peace.
See ya.
I'm outie. You know what I'm saying? He definitely outie 5,000 class act house party that situation. Anyway,
so pretty much he did what Craig did to Debo.
Basically, because it seems like this kid isn't playing, right? Saw that there, kid play. Okay, anyway, continuing. Brother Sean's going to read from the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. I'm going to stop my screen share here. Let me go to the next page, though, because these are the letters, the different correspondences between that introduction. After the introduction, you get to see these letters that it's just, we got to read the letters. We got to, man. I love reading introductions. You can get to the meat and potatoes of a book if you want. But let's start with the introduction and see what are we about to get into. And I trust we got into what we need to get into. But let me yield right here, because I think we're going to end our part 1 with Brother Sean closing out on the metaphysical denotations for Passover and Easter. And then maybe we'll come back in a few hours or so, or I don't know, maybe we'll come right back and we'll get into the correspondences. I'm not sure, but I don't want this video to be too long, right?
Worshipful sir and brothers. You can just hear him back in the day.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Humbly sheweth. Right,
the worshipful sir and brother. In consequence of what transpired at our interview with you, we do not fuck with your shit, respectfully. And we would, let me stop, I'm kidding. That's not, no, some of the letters actually are saying that though, but respectfully, they're not using like expletives. But I love reading stuff from back in the day because you get to see how people kind of throw shade elegantly. Why are you guys are so mean? Like this is better than reality TV, actually. Because I get a chance to imagine the scenery in my head and how it went down. But anywho, let me come back here, stop my screen share, yield the floor to my beloved brother, in whom I'm well pleased, Brother Sean Alim L, right? All right, and pardon my white tea. It's still laundry time, right? Because when I finish this, I'm gonna go back and
my white tea.
Laundry.
Yep, been a white tea. Yep, been a white.
I know, right?
Yo, we got a white tea Friday. How about that? How about every Friday?
Every white tea
Every
Friday.
Friday is white tea Friday. Do we
White
start
tea
it out?
Friday.
Do we start it out with D4L? I'm kidding. I'm really
Down for love.
Down for love. Look at that. Look at that. That's something to snap to. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Hey, hey, ding, 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 ding.
For the love.
I'm sorry.
He throws it so I've never seen so much as
Oh, wait. It's going around the clip. It's back.
We're having way too much fun on a holy day. Right? Some super uberly orthodox dogmatic people are like, how dare they have this much fun on a holy day?
How dare they lean?
How dare they? No, I'm kidding.
Okay,
I yield. Go ahead, brother. Y'all hilarious, man.
All righty, let's see. Passover from Hebrew. Passing over. An example, a stream or obstruction. Overcoming, sparing, protecting, or delivering. The metaphysical. The Passover, quote unquote, was an annual festival of the Israelites and still is kept by the Jews in commemoration of their escape from the Egyptians. It was used by Jesus or Justice to represent the freeing of the spiritual man from the dominion pertaining to sense. It is part of the regenerative process that goes on in the body under the inspiration of the Christ mind. It is the passing over or out of one state of consciousness into another. In order to get the esoteric interpretation of the Passover, it is necessary to analyze the descent of spirit into subjective consciousness and follow it step by step in its many manifestations. Physically speaking, Egypt represents the part of the body below the diaphragm.
Brother Sean, Brother Sean. Woo, bro. You're really, I mean, are y'all seeing how this, I'm gonna be quiet, man. Man, this is a beautiful holy day. Because you already know, you're getting, you guys are getting astromasonics, metaphysics, and you're also getting Ayurveda, which is kind of like medicalness of it, because you're getting to see what the metaphysics really boil down to when it comes to parts in your actual physical body. So you're seeing how your consciousness is actually tied to your endocrine system. Let's stop fucking around here. I yield. Go ahead, Brother Sean. This is beautiful.
Indeed. Let's see. The various plagues brought upon the Egyptians by the Lord through Moses are symbolical representations of appearances that ensue in this part of the organism when the presiding intelligence, Pharaoh, opposes the influx of the higher life. The various plagues brought by the Egyptians by the Lord through Moses, and which we know Egypt is also sense consciousness, right? Are symbolical representations of appearances that ensue in this part of the organism when the presiding intelligence or the Pharaoh opposes the influx of the higher life. A parallel to the bloody waters, frogs, lice, flies, murrain, boils, hair, locusts, darkness, and death of firstborn may be found in the various diseases of bowels, kidneys, and other organs of the body, as named by doctors. A very large portion of these ills or diseases is the result of human resistance to spiritual consciousness, which is working widely in humanity. All right, one more time. Parallel, or another way to look at things, to the bloody waters, frogs, lice, flies, murrain, bulls, hail, locusts, darkness, and death of the firstborn may be found in the various diseases of bowels, kidneys, and other organs of the body, as named by doctors. A very large portion of these ills or diseases is the result of human resistance to spiritual consciousness, which is working widely in humanity.
Brother Sean. Man, by the sound of your voice, people should be getting healed if they don't want to deal with the stuff that you're when they see that, they be like, oh man,
they probably getting cold chills. They're getting cold chills right now.
They got to be having goosebumps in 70-degree weather.
In the future, they like, hold on now. They probably had to click off of and like, hold on now. All right,
that just made you guys a Good Friday. Like that's major Good Friday. That's your Good Friday right there.
Man.
The heavens like, I don't think I want transit today. I'm like, we'll just let the brothers read. Like, all right, we got you. Here's your Good Friday, guys.
Yes.
So like, keep going, brothers. On this, let me finish. Let's see. Yeah, we giving it to y'all. Let's go. All right. A concept pertaining to truth in the head will eventually find its way through the whole body. A concept of truth in the head will eventually find its way through the whole body. Meaning, you ignore the truth, it's still going to find a way through your body. Right? And when its vibrations penetrate into the centers established in materiality, great resistance and pain sometimes follow. This sets up a chronic irritation and gives rise to a local condition to which the physician gives a name. Did the patient only know that it was spirit at work and fiercely affirm the presence and power of the divine life, the opposition of the physical would pass away and a new and more enduring life flow would follow. There is a physical basis of life through which the natural world manifests. Physical generation is its law, and its seed is the material cell. In Exodus, the natural world is called Egypt, also sense consciousness metaphysically. Jesus spoke of it as, quote, this world, end quote. Then there is the true world, whose foundation is spirit. This is the heaven, quote unquote, of pertaining to Jesus, and the house not made with hands, eternal in heavens, referred to by Paul. These are both in evidence. I think I'm going to go back to the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. Where we at with it? Let's see. And finish that. Scroll back real quick. Pass. Yeah, Peter. No, we almost there. We almost there.
Indeed. Thank you all for your patience in advance. Bro, get
screenshot it both for Mario. Let's see. Oh wow, they went in on Passover. Jeez.
Let me see. Go back again to the beginning of Passover. Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah.
All right. So these are both in evidence and man's. Let's see. Make sure y'all see that good. All right. And man's or mind, soul, and body. And in a generation, there is a breaking up and passing away of the physical basis and the ushering in pertaining to the spiritual. The quote unquote firstborn of the Egyptians is the highest concept of life perpetuation that the physical man possesses. When the divine word or angel pertaining to the Lord passes through consciousness, a transformation takes place in this life thought. When the divine word or angel of the Lord passes through consciousness, a transformation takes place in this life thought. If the consciousness is established in materiality and has no expectation or thought of spiritual life, the germ is destroyed by the high vibration and passes away through the kidneys or bowels, and a general physical weakness follows. This is the death pertaining to the firstborns of the Egyptians. If the mind is set on higher things, on the understanding that the enduring life is spiritual both within and without, blood on the doorpost, then the germ is saved from destruction. It is retained in the organism, goes through a regenerating process, is multiplied, and eventually strengthens the whole man or mind.
So the things that could first come from sense consciousness, being in mental bondage to sense consciousness, the first fruits from being in mental bondage to sense consciousness die when you keep your mind in higher vibration. I yield.
Islam. All right. We may mentally have our truest statements and seemingly complied with all the law, yet Pharaoh does not let our people go. There is no realization of freedom in the body consciousness. Another step is necessary, which is typified in the feast pertaining to the Passover. In every change of consciousness on the physical plane, there is a breaking down of cells and a building up of other cells to take their place. So when the snake sheds its skin, there's something new to come through.
Pardon me, beloved. Zoom in more, please. If you can. Yeah, that's love.
Islam. There we go. There we go. Let's see where we at. All right, here we go. Place. Mentally, this is denial and affirmation. And this process in the body is the result of these two movements of the mind. We let go the animal life and take hold of the spiritual life by giving up consciously to this passing over, quote unquote, process.
Declare and proclaim your nationality. Okay, I get it. Go ahead.
Islam, which takes place when the old cells are replaced by the new. The lamb that is killed and eaten in the night represents this giving up of the animal life in the obscurity of the carnal body. The lamb that is killed and eaten in the night represents this giving up pertaining to the animal life in the obscurity of the carnal body. Mm-hmm. The command is that the lamb shall be without spot or blemish and be wholly eaten after being roasted with fire. This parable refers to the complete surrender of the human life after it has been purified by the fires of regeneration. Fire represents the positive, affirmative state of mind, as opposed to the negative or watery state. The children of Israel were commanded not to let the lamb be boiled. And let's see, I'm not sure what the AV is. And the AV Sodden, which is the old.
I think that's the Avestan version. Brother Benjamin, can you look up AV and see if that's the Avestan version, Avestan version of the Bible? I yield.
Gratitude, bro. Let's see, Old English present tense of seeth. We are not to allow the life in our organism to simmer and stew with the worries and negative words of carnality, but we must set it afire with strong words of truth.
In other words, put the meat in the fire. Don't make a gumbo or a stew out of it. That's what it's saying. Put your put that animalistic thinking in the fire so it can be purified. Whereas if you stew it, it does not go through purification. That's why I said boil or whatever, but that's all good. What did I ask Brother Benjamin to look up? Is he looking or no?
AV.
Avestan. Brother Benjamin.
Yep.
You got it? Avestan version. Is that what that is?
Avestan.
Is it ON or AN? It doesn't matter. Either one. I'm curious.
ADST.
I'm curious to know what AV means.
That's why I'm like, yeah, is that a Avestan version? I don't think it's amplified, because if it was amplified, it had said AMP actually.
I have to go to Google. It's not popping right there.
All right, it's no problem. I'll yield for now. We can continue like Brother Sean, because we got quite a little bit of reference to go, and I think we're still making good timing. Go ahead, Brother Sean.
All righty. All right, so we are not allowed to allow the life in an organism to simmer and stew. So don't allow the worries to simmer and stew with the worries and negative words of carnality or flesh conscious, but set it afire so that strong words of truth can bring the real true spirituality. This is to show us that there must be a physical sacrifice as well as a mental. and that, quote, all the congregation of Israel, end quote, shall join in it. That is, the whole consciousness of spiritual desire shall acquiesce. Many metaphysical physicians think that it is not necessary to change the habits of the sense man, that one has only to keep his thoughts right, and the flesh will thereby be wholly regulated. But the scripture teaches that there must be a conscious physical change before the complete demonstration in mind and body is manifest. Thoughts work themselves out in things, and we get the full result of this work only when we follow them consciously every step of the way and help them along. So watch your thoughts as they consecutively work their way through your organism. And if you find that some pure thought of spiritual life is striving to free the life and the appetites and the passions of your physical Egypt, help it by consciously elevating that life to the open door of your mind. This is typified by putting the blood of the lamb on the two sides of the post and the lintel of the door of the house. Do not be afraid to expose your inner life to the sight of the Lord, for only in perfect candor and childlike innocence can man come under the protection of divine law.
Read that last sentence again. That is a major, major, major key.
Islam. Do not be afraid to expose your inner life to the sight of the Lord, for only in perfect candor and childlike innocence can man or mind come under the protection of divine law.
Period. I yield.
All right. So long as there is a hidden, secret use of God's life in our habits in ways that we are not willing that all should know, just so long will the bondage of Egypt pharaohs hold us in its clutches. So then if we look back to Veritas, he was trying to, hey, I got this truth, man. No, I got these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, we're going to keep it bonded how it has been, go on somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole man must be pure, or the whole mind must be pure, and his inner life must be made so open and free that he will not be afraid to blaze on it upon the very doors of his house, where all who pass may read. Then the Lord will execute his judgment, and those who have purified the life of the lamb or the body will escape the messenger or thoughts pertaining to death.
Now, you can read the outwardly expression of Passover if you care to. I wouldn't mind that. Go in and read the outwardly expression, but the metaphysical is what's important. Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, metaphysics, the science pertaining to being, the science pertaining to ultimate reality. That's what metaphysics is. And I yield the floor to Brother Sean reading the outwardly definition here in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary for Passover. I yield.
All right, Passover. Outwardly, a Jewish feast, symbolically, a mental attitude in which we are bridging over from an old state of consciousness and entering a new.
Ham and Kush. Ham and Kush. Crossing over. Just again, then we read the letter and the prophet said, if you do not think what I've brought you is that, then go back to where you crossed over from, to where you passed over from. Go back to that attitude that I found you in then. I yield.
Islam. See, and taking on the Christ consciousness, men or minds pass over from the mortal to the spiritual consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Ham and Kush. Again, make you look at chapter 47. So different now. Because you'll take your Quran and now take everything in the Quran and make the inside of you where these events are happening. All right, I yield. We're looking at Easter now. We're looking at Easter, and that's where we're going to end at. And we should have a 2 hour and some change live by the time Brother Sean is done. And that's where we're going to yield the floor, give ourselves a break. Let you guys just rock with 2 hours on part one. If we come with a part two, then I'll call this part one in the title. But go ahead, Brother Sean. I yield.
All righty. Easter, the awakening and raising to spiritual consciousness of the I am, or, the Aries in man or mind, which has been dead in trespasses and sin, buried in the tomb of materiality.
Read that again, and then read East above it with the metaphysical, and then we're complete.
All right. Easter, the awakening and raising to spiritual consciousness of the I am in man, which has been dead in trespasses and sins.
You're a little off to the right for some reason. It's not centered.
We good?
I think we good now, yes.
All right. Easter, the awakening and raising to spiritual consciousness of the I am in man or mind, which has been dead, black, and trespasses and sin.
How you said black? Because it's true. Because it's true. It's not mean. It's true. I yield.
And buried in the tomb of materiality.
Hiram a bit.
Rise up.
Shallow grave. You want to read it again? Do you want to expose to them again? Let me calm down.
One more time. I got it.
One more time. The shallow
Easter.
grave. Hiram a bit was buried in.
Uh-oh. Hold on. I'm gonna call. Hold on.
I'm sure you would get a call after I said what I said there.
Hey.
Not a problemos. Let Brother Sean take care of that, guys. As you can see, Brother Sean's going to read again Easter for the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary by Charles Fillmore. All righty. And since he still has it there, right? So resourceful, Brother Sean is, as we can see, right? As he has it there, right? And I know he's in the M section. Is he going to get to the E section while he's on the phone? At the end of the day, though, what we can really see here is like I said, we're going to close this on out, guys, right? You back, Brother Sean? You still muted, though.
Islam.
All right, Islam. So you guys can really see here that that's why I just wanted to do what we did, and we're going to stop after this and leave it at that. All right, and take a break because one, I don't want to go much past 2 hours, and two, Brother Benjamin has pulled the all-nighter, guys. Y'all already know Brother Benjamin's a champ. All righty, so he's got to get his rest. I want my bros to get their rest, so that's why, like I said, I wanted to do this early at 9, but it was a little later because I wanted to get the mail out. A couple of our brothers out there has been waiting on some tax per Q correspondences for me, and it's out. All right, let's let Brother Sean read Easter one more time. And then he's going to read East. All righty. I yield the floor. Brother Sean reading about Hiram Abiff buried in the shallow grave because he wants to be black instead of Moorish American. I yield.
Easter, awakening and raising to spiritual consciousness of the I am in man, or Haram, raising from the tombs of his mind to be more, which has been dead, black, and trespasses and sins buried in the tomb of materiality. Now we're going to come up to East, the within, as used in Matt, degree 2, let's see, minute 1, or
right,
no,
Matthew, right? Look at that, Matthew, the one who has no disciples in Veritas Astrolabe. Looky, how we got back to Matthew again? Anyway, go ahead, I yield.
It's the word in the original is plural. Thus, from the regions of interior wisdom comes thoughts of reverence and rich gifts of substance, understanding and every spiritual help for the Christ child, whose growth and consciousness has begun. Now, coming to the metaphysical of East, in scriptural symbology, East represents the within. As used in Matthew 2:1, the word in the original is plural. The significance, therefore, is that from the regions of interior wisdom come thoughts of reverence and rich gifts of substance, and understanding and every spiritual help for the holy life, the Christ child that has begun its growth in the consciousness.
All within you, never outside of you, never meant to have a collection plate past, none of that. This is how you're supposed to be introduced to it first, so that you can competently grow and take your place amongst the affairs pertaining to minds. And we yield here. Brother Sean, you can stop your screen share and we can come back to close on out. All righty. And I am thoroughly pleased with my brother's introduction and conclusion. Thanks you, Brother Benjamin Bey.
Thank you for allowing me to do this. Thank you for having the trust in your brother to do so as well. That's exercising. I know people like seeing, people be like, he always talk first, and people say that. But now they can't be like, oh, he's always, P. Diddy in a situation. If that's the thing, he allows, he has to push us more to be in the front than, you guys think. As much as you think you see him like, yeah, that's just a part of the press part, the avalanche of lies off of us. So, and we assist him with that. Well, with him making sure we're sounding ourselves by, like maybe one day we're like, hey guys, it's us, maybe not something, all that to say, thank you for allowing us to express ourselves and giving us a chance to do so, bro. And I yield on that.
Thank you, Brother Benjamin, for your introduction, leading us with the Moorish American prayer. I mean, if flawless could be looked up in the dictionary, I'm pretty sure a picture of today's live would show up. So with that being said, Brother Sean, I thank you for the conclusion, because this is where we are, guys. Every portion that we presented today is where every human being on the planet is within inside themselves, whether they're going to admit it or not. And that's what today's presentation is about. If we don't come back today, guys, that's fine. Whenever we decide, if next Friday is, hey, Brother Hasan's going to read the correspondences from Veritas, because Brother Benjamin agrees that that's what we need to go in on. Cool. That's what we're going to go in on that day.
Speaking from within mother. We'll call it that. On the holy day, speaking from within mother.
Islam. Now, I and Brother Sean are going to, and Brother Benjamin, we're going to yield here because I and Brother Sean are probably going to beat social media up for about the next half an hour, respectfully, with our advertisements of this presentation. And that's about it.
Not kill it. So we're going to uplift, not kill it.
Yeah, we're gonna give it some life. We're going to bring life to it, right? Let's give it some life.
Bring wholeness.
Right? We're not going to beat up the internet. We're actually going to love up the internet. It's like, what'd you say?
I was just
say it again, Rob.
They would like watch people with hand gestures. So he's like, we're gonna make whole. He was like, I was just bad at that. He was like, we're not gonna destroy, we're gonna make whole, we're gonna be peaceful, make sure that we're loved. And those mudresses actually do come in handy when they're genuine. They do come in handy when they're genuine, you know what I'm saying? You can sit here and talk to people and go over different things and maybe speak to different things like that. And when you know what the areas for the mudresses actually mean, and you can sit there and speak to people that may not be your brothers and mothers and just stand there the whole time like this. Are you waiting on the bus? But the whole time what you're saying is, I'm the panopticon. You know what I'm saying?
To the OB.
You know, I'm the synopticon, basically. I'm the few watching the many, right? Because the panopticon would be the many watching the few, all right? So with that being said, right? So yeah, this would be a synoptic view here. This is a synoptic view. All right, so with that being said, though, so what'd you say?
I was like, I'm sure I've seen that one before. I think I posted that today.
Looky. All right.
Yeah,
looky. Astro cookie. So no more questions, comments, and or suggestions from my beloved brothers in whom I'm well pleased, or myself. There aren't any. So we're going to say now to you guys, thank you all so much for joining us. We appreciate you. I got some advertising and laundry to do. I got some more being Moorish American to do. So let me get back to being Moorish American some more. I've been Moorish American here enough. Now let's go be some Moorish American off camera. I'm kidding. To you all, we love you. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you in the email tomorrow morning when we go to advertise this in Astrology Street. So see you in the emails and tomorrow morning. I'm serious. All righty. Namaste to everyone. Islam, Islam, Islam. Happy holy / Venus degree. Space / Venus degree. Islam.